All right, everybody. Hope you like that little goofy smile there. Welcome back to part 13, and we will not be covering Friday the 13th in part because we already did those. But welcome to part 13 of my 2026 VHS Collection Overview series, and I did pull everything off of the three the three rows on the back there, in the front and the back, and then so I will try to get through all these. If we go slightly and over an hour, I think it'll be okay, or maybe I'll just shoot the next segment. We'll see what happens, but let's do it. Let's get rambling, ramblers. So first up, we will start with do have Home Alone. Got some Home Alone VHS here, so you gotta have the original, the classic Home Alone, which I did not get this on VHS till I was an adult, maybe I did get it as actually, I got it at the creepy closed out store, because that's what he would do. He would write, so all his VHS would be 99 cents. He would write 99 on the window of the where the spool is. So I think I got this when I first started going there as a teenager. But yeah, I didn't get this one on VHS till much later. I do remember renting it quite a bit on VHS, and then of course it's Home Alone is never not on TV during Christmas, so it's not like they never showed the movie or anything. It's probably on TV right now, and it's fucking March. You know what I mean? So, but come on, you got to have Home Alone on video cassette. Well, these, I think they might stay like that. We'll see. But I've had Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, on VHS forever. Funny story behind this. My dad actually got this by winning a contest. I think it was at the local radio station, or one of the local radio stations. It was actually when we still lived in Baltimore. But he won, it was 3 prizes. He won this, a Fox Family beach towel, because it was still Fox Family at the time. Disney had not bought them out yet. I don't know whatever happened to that towel. And then I don't remember what the third prize was. But yeah, Home Alone 2 I've had on VHS forever. So there you go. I've had this ever since I was a little guy. So it's still, the box has got a little wear and tear, a little normal wear and tear, but the tape itself looks fine. Like I said, I'll put these on the floor just to be safe. I always try to take care of my shit, always. So there's that. Then we have Home Alone 3, which I've always liked. I know Rambo Raff just reviewed this and did a commentary. Got to go check out the commentary. I did watch the review, though. But always liked Home Alone 3. It's good, clean, harmless fun. Is it as good as the first 2? No. Is it better than what came after it? Fuck yes. So I would much rather watch Home Alone 3 on a loop than ever have to sit through the movies that came after it. Luckily, I never saw the Home Sweet Home Alone, or whatever that last one was that I heard was god-awful. So, luckily I didn't have to sit through that one. And then we have behind the scenes of Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, which, not for sale, rental, or public demonstration. So I think this was a freebie that came out, or it was a promo or something that came out back in the day. But this is still stuck on VHS. They never put this on the Home Alone 2 DVD or Blu-ray. And that's the other thing that's weird. Home Alone 2 actually did very well. Did it make as much as the first movie? No, because typically sequels, at least back then, would not make as much. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. But Home Alone 2 still made a nice chunk of change, actually. Macaulay Culkin says the residual checks are still pretty good for this one, because he got a percentage of the gross, too. Why they've never done features for Home Alone 2 is beyond me. The first one got a bunch of them, but Home Alone 2 never got anything other than a trailer, I believe. But yeah, this is still stuck on VHS. I believe it's here on YouTube, but it only came out physically on video. So there's that. Then we do have the Tremors VHS. I do have Tremors 3. It's in the other room. I just haven't watched it yet. So we have the original, the classic. This is another VHS that a lot of people had growing up. I remember going to people's houses and it was like, oh, Tremors, can we watch it? No, why? Because you're too young. I'm like, I've seen it before. I probably have seen it more than you have. So, but love Tremors. Again, one of my all-time favorite creature features. Always was. And then we have Tremors 2 Aftershocks, which I might actually like more than the first one, to be honest. So I know people get mad when I say that. I'm trying to see where I got this, because the box is a little dinged up. Not sure where I got this, but it's okay. But love Tremors 2. The first two I absolutely love. Tremors 3 is not bad. I like Tremors 3. After that, I gave up. And I do like the TV series. I did watch that when it was originally on back in the day, which was cool. And then I found this on eBay. We have the making of Tremors 2, which I believe this is on the Arrow release, but it's still cool to have, can't complain. And again, not for sale or rental, so this was probably sent to video stores back in the day that they could play in their store. It was a freebie or a promo, that sort of thing. And a trailer for Tremors 2 will appear on Waterworld, reaching approximately 30 million home video renters in February alone. So there's that. Yeah, it just says Tremors 2 electronic press kit. So it's just the making of featurette that they would typically do for movies back in the day. But like I said, this is on the Arrow release, so it is out there. But once again, it's still cool to have. And it's Tremors. Next up, these 5 actually are from my grandmother, so I actually probably will put these with her stuff. We'll see. But these are the ones that I would watch as a kid when I would go to her house, and luckily I have all of her VHS. So we got Mighty Mouse, which only has one Mighty Mouse cartoon, Woof Woof. The other 3 are different characters on there. Then we have Herman the Mouse, Volume 1, which again I think only has one cartoon with him, and then the other 3 are other ones. So there's that. Then we have Woody Woodpecker and Friends, and these were all the cheap public domain ones that you would get at the dollar store and stuff back. And that's another thing I miss, when Dollar Tree actually had movies, and I remember getting a lot of stuff back in the day there. Because I think they had a deal with Just for Kids. So this one's Bozo. It's just Bozo the Clown. But a lot of the Just for Kids titles you could get at the Dollar Tree and stuff back in the day. I remember having a bunch of them. There was a Tom Sawyer anime that I had, and a bunch of stuff. And then we got Little Lulu, In a Bout with a Trout, and then there's 3 others, which again I believe are other cartoons. And then UAV Home Video had a deal I think with Dollar Tree, so you get a lot of these back in the day. And that's backwards, so that's how I like it. There you go. So these are from Grandmom, so I'll put those in the other room with her other tapes. So there's that. Then we found this at I think I found this at Goodwill, or maybe I got it in a collection. Well, we got the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, Mario Meets Coopzilla. And this actually, I believe, has all the original music because the DVDs didn't. So that's why I held on to this one. But this is the only one I have. I'd like to get some more of these. I think it's just one episode on here. Yeah, Coopzilla is that one. But this is cool. Yeah, this is the Kids Classic. So this is one of the cheapo releases that came out later. But still cool to have. So there you go. Then we got a couple of music videos here. First up, we got Mr. Big, Lean Into It, which has the music videos on here. What do we got? What are we working with? Wind Me Up, Addicted to That Rush, and Green Tinted 60s Mind. And then footage of them on the road and in the studio and all that good stuff, which is cool. And then we've got Slaughter, Up All Night. Yeah, just the video for Up All Night, Sleep All Day. Gotta go see those guys. Always like Slaughter. Always really... Mark Slaughter, I always thought, had a really great voice. I've heard it's not as good as it used to be, but you know, these guys are old now, so you gotta expect that. Oh well. Just like I know everybody's making a big deal because Twisted Sister was going to go out and tour, and then they canceled it because Dee Snider's old, and now Sebastian Bach is going to do it. I'm not going. So there's that. Then we've got some Michael Dudikoff. We got The Dude on VHS. Can't go wrong with him. So first up, once again, for you youngins, for you baby children out there that don't know anything, we have Avenging Force, which for the longest time did not have a DVD here in America for whatever reason. It did overseas. But this was a tape that used to be worth a little bit. I think I paid about $20 for it about 10, 15 years ago. Closer to the 15 years ago, my bad. Probably even longer than that. Because when I got this on VHS, there was no DVD here in America. I was not into Laserdisc yet, so I was just doing the gateway drugs. I was smoking weed, but instead of weed, it was VHS. So, there you go. But always loved that artwork. I always thought that was so cool. Nice painted artwork, or hand drawn or whatever. But always really enjoyed this movie. I told Sam Furstenberg when I interviewed him that this was his best film, and I think he was like, I would say it's my best movie too. But very cool film, always really enjoyed that. And then another one that was stuck on VHS as well, because it didn't get a DVD or a Blu-ray till many, 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 many years later. I don't know if this one was ever expensive or not, or rare. But we have Platoon Leader. I actually quite enjoy this film. I would say that this is one of my favorite Vietnam movies. But always really enjoyed this one. And I did get this at the video store where my cousins live. I do have this on Laserdisc as well, and Blu-ray, because it did. Kino actually put this out in a double feature with Soldier Boys. I'm pretty sure I had Soldier Boys on VHS at one point, but for whatever reason, I got rid of it. But I do need to get some more Michael Dudikoff VHS. I had American Ninja 2, but it was the Video Treasures cheapo release. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I do want to get the original media release. I have the first American Ninja. I got to get some more of his movies. I do have The Human Shield on VHS. It's just in the other room. I have not watched it yet. This is a screener. When I get the retail copy, I'll probably get rid of this one. But we have Midnight Ride. This one still is not available on DVD. I think anywhere in the world. I think the ones you do see out there are just fancy schmancy bootlegs. So there you go. But good little flick, more of a thriller type of movie where Mark Hamill basically plays himself because he's a fucking psycho. And then Robert Mitchum has a cameo as a doctor. And the chick that played Michael Dudikoff's wife, Savina Gersak, she is actually pretty fine looking. I don't know whatever happened to her, but I did think she was fairly attractive. So there's that. But yeah, this is a screener VHS because that's just all that I have for now. Try to pick this up retail. I think it got a laser disc. I don't think in America, maybe overseas. I have to look into that. And then this one is stuck on DVD and Laserdisc because I do have the laser for it here in America. But we have Rescue Me, which was one of Stephen Dorff's first movies. When I met Stephen Dorff, I asked him about this. Apparently, he had no recollection of making this movie. And it probably didn't help that he was already drunk when the convention started, too. So there's that. But pretty fun kind of road coming-of-age movie, definitely targeted for a younger audience because it is PG-13, but it's a pretty good movie, pretty fun movie. I quite like this one. Hopefully, we'll find out what's going on with some of these later canon titles. I don't know if Warner Brothers still owns them or not. Maybe Vinegar Syndrome will put some of these out. We'll see what happens, but William Lucking is in this. May he rest in peace. Is one of the bad guys. Peter DeLuise, one of Dom DeLuise's sons, is pretty fun in this movie too. The very attractive Amy Dolenz, daughter of Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees, is in here. I always thought she was very attractive. That's just me, but pretty good movie. Check if you haven't seen that one. Check it out. It's pretty fun. Got some good stuff in there. Oh boy. All right, moving on. We got some Travolta here. John Travolta, that's what I call him. So first up, Saturday Night Fever. This is actually still sealed. I have never opened this. From Hills. Anybody remember Hills department store? I do. And I did not pay $12.97 because I found this at a Goodwill. This is actually a later release from the 90s. This is the original R-rated theatrical cut. They did, after the next movie came out, which you already know which one that is, they re-edited and to a PG and released Saturday Night Fever to kind of appeal to a broader audience. That came out on VHS. I don't know if it came out on Laserdisc or not. I'll have to look it up. And I think they may have slipped it onto one of the Blu-rays. I'm not entirely sure. I have that as a DVD-R. I found it online and just ripped it or just burned it to a disc. But I would like to find that PG version just to have it. But they may have included that as an extra on one of the Blu-rays. I'm not sure. And then because of this movie, they did that. So I do have the Grease films on VHS. I've had these forever. I actually have a... it's not this one. I'm just going to hold this one. I do have a home video of me opening these up, I think, on Easter. So, again, it's one of these home movies over here. I got to digitize all those, too. So, we have the original classic. Again, I was never big on musicals, but it's fucking Grease. Come on. I mean, Grease is an all-time classic. I don't think anybody would disagree. But love Grease. I did see it about maybe 10 years ago. They re-released it. I did go see it in the theaters. Maybe I think next year they'll probably re-release it because it'll be the 50th anniversary, which is crazy. But I'll probably, if they do that, I'll probably go see it. But yeah, I think about 10 years ago they re-released it in the theaters, and I was still in the Army, and I went and saw it, which was pretty cool. And then we have Grease 2. I do not give a fuck what anyone says. I like this movie. I don't care. Adrian Zemed is going to be a chiller next month. I'm going to try to go up, and I'm sure I'll geek out about this movie with him, but I don't care. Michelle Pfeiffer is fine as fuck in this movie. I don't care, which is ironic because the movie she did before this was the Hollywood Nights, where she played a similar character, so there you go. But Grease 2, I don't give a fuck. This is one of those movies. It's, it's so bad, it's good, it's a guilty pleasure. Fuck all that shit. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Okay? It's just your opinion. But I like Grease 2. It's got some good songs in it. Michelle Pfeiffer is smoking hot. So there you go. But it didn't do well when it came out. It was, I think it made money, but it didn't make what they were looking for. Apparently Maxwell Caulfield is a dick. A lot of the people that worked on the movie said that about him. Like, they said he really thought that he was going to be the next John Travolta or Richard Gere or whatever, and it just didn't happen. I know Michelle Pfeiffer said numerous times that they did not get along, and he was very difficult to work with, and that probably is why you never really heard about him after Grease 2, because that adds up. So that's why he had, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I think that's why he had a B-movie career, because he just couldn't behave. It happens to so many others. So I guess in Empire Records he was playing himself. So there you go. We'll cover that. I don't think in this... Yeah, I'm not seeing it here. It's somewhere in here, but not in what we're talking about now. So there's that. Next up we have... Here's a story of a man named Brady! Sorry, I had to. But I do have the Brady Bunch movies. I love these movies. I still think 30 years later they're still hilarious. They're still funny. I did get these on Blu-ray recently. I do want to watch them, but I got to get them on Laserdisc as well. But I absolutely love these films. The first movie, we already covered it, but I did have the first movie. I still have the first movie on a recorded VHS, but of course I do have the retail version. I always loved that poster too. Always thought that poster was really cool. Definitely want to get one of those. But yeah, I really like these movies. I always did. Now, I didn't grow up with the Brady Bunch. That's more my mom's generation. That's my mom's thing. But I just really like these films. I cannot complain. And it's a shame that they didn't do features for them. I think the Blu-rays just have the trailers, but it would have been cool if maybe they got some interviews. Gary Cole, I love him as an actor. He is such a good actor because he can do everything. He can do comedy. He can do drama. He did a great series in the 80s called Midnight Caller, if you've ever seen that. And he can do it all. He is such a solid actor. Always really enjoyed his work. Shelley Long, always loved her. From Cheers to Troop Beverly Hills. I need to get that at least on VHS. I think there's a DVD for it. I don't think it's on Blu-ray, but she was great. You got 90s Spider-Man himself, Christopher Daniel Barnes, Christine Taylor, who I always thought was very attractive. You know, you got a really good... Michael McKean plays kind of the villain. You know, you can't go wrong with Michael McKean. I love that guy. I always was a huge fan of his work. Davy Jones from the Monkees has a cameo in here. Some of the original Brady Bunch cast pops in here. Great stuff. I love that. And then, of course, you have a Very Brady sequel, which is just as good, just as fun, in my opinion. Always really like this one. You got Tim Matheson as another actor who, no matter what he's in, I love. Whether it's this or Animal House or Black Sheep or whatever, I love that guy. He was at Chiller a couple years ago. I didn't get a chance to meet him. I did see him, though, and he just looked like he was having a great time, so I'd love to meet him because I've always been a big fan of his work, too. But love these films. This is a former rental from Blockbuster, which is very cool, but good stuff. Again, always really enjoyed these movies. Solid movies. I think the first one did pretty well. I don't think the second one did as well. I think there were plans to do a third movie, but because the second one didn't do as well as the first one, they kind of shoved it, away, sadly. And, everybody wants to bitch and complain. Both of these are directed by women. So there you go. Betty Thomas directed the first one, she did the Private Parts and other movies, always loved her. And then Arlene Sanford directed this, who would later do I'll Be Home for Christmas, and I think she may have worked on Home Improvement, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think her name is associated with that show somehow. But enough about the Brady Bunch. Let's move on, shall we? Summer Catch. Really like this film. It didn't do anything. I think this was kind of the end of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s run. I think people were getting tired of seeing him. It's because Star Wars is for kids, if you ever seen that video. If not, it's here on YouTube. But it's odd because Scooby-Doo came out the next year, and that was a big hit. So there you go. But always like this movie. I'm a sucker. Baseball is the only sport that I give a shit about, even though I'm wearing a wrestling... Actually, I do care about wrestling because my brother wrestles. My cousin's son, he's wrestling. We went and saw him last month, and he was just having a great time, which is awesome. And he's good. He's a good little guy. He's funny. He cracks me up. But anyway, but I'm a sucker for a baseball movie, and I always really enjoyed this one. I actually remember when this came out in the theater, but I didn't see it then. But good stuff. And this is a former Blockbuster rental. Sadly, I was hoping that Warner Brothers would have put this out on Blu-ray. They did. I have the original DVD. They did re-release it in the archive collection, but it was only on DVD. I don't know why they didn't do it as a Blu-ray. But again, maybe Paramount will do it now. Maybe they'll license it. I don't know. Then we have Now and Then, which is the girl version of Stand By Me, which I only have this on VHS. I need to get this on... well, there is a DVD. There's some... It's not on Blu-ray officially. There's some bootlegs out there. Sorry, my ass hurts. But I actually quite like this film. I can't complain. Good little female, again, the girl version of Stand By Me. But Christina Ricci, who I've been madly in love with my entire life, so you can't go wrong. Thora Birch from Hocus Pocus, always liked her work. She was cool. Unfortunately, Ashley Ashton Moore, she unfortunately passed away. And I always liked Gabby Hoffman. She was in the 1995 version of Freaky Friday. She was in The Man Without a Face, the Mel Gibson movie. And luckily, there's not too much with the female, the older females, because, I mean, Melanie Griffin, I never cared for. I never really understood what the big deal with her was. I don't think she's that attractive either. Rita Wilson, I do like. Rosie O'Donnell can suck a fart out of my fucking ass and die. And yes, the very lovely Demi Moore. I don't know why Demi Moore got plastic surgery. She was perfect the way that, I guess the substance, but I guess whatever. But she looked fine the way she was. But you don't see too much of the older versions, which is cool in here. Devon Sawa is actually also in this, and him and Christina Ricci would work. I think this was after Casper. Yeah. So they got to work together twice, and they do get to kiss in both movies. So I guess the first girl that Devon Sawa got to kiss is Christina Ricci, which that makes me jealous. So there's that. But anyway, but if you've never seen the Brendan Fraser actually has a cameo in this, which is cool. But if you've never seen this, it's a pretty good little flick. Check this one out. I did find this at the in a Goodwill somewhere. But yeah, I don't know why that's not on Blu-ray officially either. You want to talk about all this feminism, and it's directed by a woman as well. So what the fuck, you idiots? It's never enough for you retards. Oh well. Alright, so next up, I'll do it this way. First, we have Teen Wolf. Love Teen Wolf. Always was a big fan of this, the movie where Marty McFly turns into a werewolf. Now, it's weird because Teen Wolf was shot before Back to the Future, but it came out after Back to the Future, and it was actually shot in a lot of the same neighborhoods, because there will be scenes in this movie where they're walking around or driving, and it's like, oh, that house was also in Back to the Future. So there you go. But this is a special collector series. This has to be this is I think a later release, but still cool. I like the gold look on there. But love Teen Wolf. Very, very fun 80s. Not really horror, but it's got a werewolf. It's definitely one you watch around Halloween, but it's more of a comedy. Killer soundtrack as well. This has an amazing soundtrack. Never saw Teen Wolf 2 though. Never had the desire to watch that one. I'm not gonna. You can see them all in the frame here, but I do have the Back to the Future movies and all of the animated series VHS. So we'll cover all those here. So first up, I can grab these. We have the movies, the trilogy. Can't go wrong. So first up, we have the original classic. Can't go wrong with Back to the Future. This is I think these are all 90s. This is 1994, so this is a later release. And then we have Back to the Future Part 2, which this is the 1990s, so this is the original release of the film because it came out in theaters in November. So former rental from somewhere, but not anywhere local. And then we got Back to the Future Part 3, which was always my favorite because it's a Western. There you go. And this is the original release as well, which is very cool. But love these movies. I did have, when I was a kid, when they first came out on DVD, they had that blue box set. They re-released them on VHS as well with the same artwork. I did have that. When I got it on DVD, I got rid of those because, again, back then I was not collecting VHS like I do now. But I would like to get that box set one of these days again, just to have it. Because, come on, it's Back to the Future. And those were cool because they had making-ofs at the end of the movie. I think that came out in 2002. and they were brand new because there was new interviews with Michael J. Fox and such. They didn't get Christopher Lloyd. I don't know if he didn't want to do it or he was busy, but he did not get interviewed for those. All right, and then we have all, I think, 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all 9 of the animated series VHS. Now, for the longest time, you could only get these on VHS and Laserdisc. I think maybe at one point they were a little harder to come by or a little pricey. I got them all pretty cheap, so I can't complain. So we have Volume 1, which is Batter Up and Time Waits for No Frog. Actually got this one and one of the other ones at a Dollar General. Actually found these in a Dollar General when they were getting rid of VHS. Then we have Volume 2, Clara's Folks and Brothers, and I love the artwork on here. A bunch of these got re-released on the Laserdiscs. I do have those. But I love this cartoon. This is actually one of my favorite cartoons that's based on a movie. To be honest, I just love it. I love that they made it educational. They had Christopher Lloyd come back as Doc to do the kind of live action scenes. You know, I thought that was cool. And then they just had a lot of fun. You could tell that they just kind of did their own thing. I don't think the show, I mean, it had 2 seasons, so I guess it did somewhat well, but I don't think it did that well. But I still, again, really enjoyed this show. Always have, always will. All right, then we have Volume 3, Dickens of a Christmas, and Swing Low, Sweet Chariot Race. And yeah, these are all on DVD. They're actually on Blu-ray. There's a German Blu-ray that I have. They're just upscales, but it's still cool to have. Excuse me. Then we have Forward to the Past and Vern Hatches an Egg. But yeah, I love this cartoon. Good stuff. And Tom Wilson came back as Biff. Mary Steenburgen came back as Clara, which was cool. And David Kaufman did the voice of Marty, who would later do the voice of Freakazoid, which is very cool, a couple years later. Then we have Go Fly a Kite and Hill Valley Brownout, which this was the other one that I found at a Dollar General back in the day, which is very cool. Because I found them actually where my grandparents lived, because, you know, anytime we would, you know, as we call it, we'd do the store tour where we'd have, and I'm sure a lot of you did the same thing. We'd have to go to 15 different stores, and it's like, well, bring money, because if you see something, you know, there you go. This one's still sealed. There's a couple that are still sealed. I haven't even opened this one, but we have Volume 6, A Friend Indeed, and The Money Tree. And I definitely want to sit down and watch all these sometime soon here, just for fun. Then we got Volume 7, Solar Sailors and Brave Lord and the Demon Monstra, which I think this one never came out on Laserdisc. I think the last 3 were only on VHS, if I'm not mistaken. This one's still sealed as well. We've got A Family Vacation and Retired. And then we have Volume 9, which is Mac the Black and St. Louis Blues. And it's 2 episodes per tape, so you actually get most of the series. You get 18 out of the 26 episodes. I don't know how well these did. I don't know if they just wanted to save money and then cut costs and they didn't do more. But if they put out a couple more volumes, they would have actually had the entire series on VHS, because it was only 26 episodes. It was 2 seasons of 13 apiece. It would have been cool if they did that, but I love these. Again, I love this cartoon. I think it's probably, honestly, my favorite cartoon that's based on a movie. RoboCop and Rambo were pretty close, but, you know, Back to the Future, I just love the franchise of Back to the Future. And you know what? I'm glad that Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale decided that, you know, we're going to put all this shit in our deals and our contracts where they can't remake it or do a sequel till like 80 years after we die. I'm not going to be around that long, so, you know, But that's fucking awesome. They're very smart business people, and I love that they protect their baby. And then we got another Michael J. Fox movie here, The Hard Way. Again, absolutely love this movie. One of my favorite action comedies, specifically from the 90s. Just always been a huge fan of this movie ever since I first saw it. So underrated. If you have not seen this movie, I don't know what you guys are waiting for. You got to check it out. Got to check it out, my friends. Alright, so let's get moving. We'll go about another 15-20 minutes here, and then I might do... we'll see. We'll see what happens. Alright, so next up, we got Dude, Where's My Car? One of my favorite stoner comedies. Saw this when it first came out on, actually, VHS back in the day. Always really liked it. This is the 20th Century Fox Selections release, which is cool. But again, one of my favorite stoner comedy movies. And it's funny because the guy that directed this, Danny Liner, unfortunately he died. Fortunately, he passed away very young. He directed the first Harold and Kumar, so that's a great double feature. Then we got Street Sharks! Street Sharks! Street Sharks! One of my favorite Ninja Turtle knockoffs from the 90s. They did 3 VHS. I have the other one in the other room. I just haven't watched it yet. So first up, we've got Shark Quest. Love these like kind of holographic, whatever you want to call it, artwork on there. Very cool. But I love this cartoon. I used to watch this all the time back in the day. It is on Blu-ray, actually. I do want to pick that up. It does not tell you what the name of the episodes are, but there's 2 episodes on each tape. And then we have Shark and Roll. So this is volume 3. This is volume 2. I have volume 1 again in the other room. I just have not watched it yet. So there you go. And I love the fact that they took Jabs, did that on purpose because one of the characters' named is Jab. I believe, right? I believe one of the sharks' name was Jab. Yeah, I think it was the blue one. Well, it was that blue one, not the other blue one. My bad. I think his name was Jab. I can't remember. It's been a while. But the sharks hated pizza, so they took jabs at Ninja Turtles, which I thought was kind of funny. So there you go. Next up, I should put this with the Phantasm movies, but this might be my second favorite Don Coscarelli movie next to Phantasm 2, really, to be honest. But Bubba Hotep, I love this movie. This movie is so fun. This is a definition of a cult movie, a cult classic. Get well soon, Bruce Campbell. We're thinking about you. We're hoping and we're praying that you will get through this. So for those of you that don't know, he was diagnosed with a not curable, sadly, but a treatable form of cancer. So, whoa! I did not notice that the tape is really moldy. Ugh, that's not good. I might have to buy another copy of this, but it's pretty cheap on VHS. But love this movie. Love Bubba Hotep. So there you go. Yeah, and I know what some of you are thinking, like, why do you keep these in your basement? Most of them are fine. Most of them I don't have any issues with. Just because the tape is moldy doesn't mean that it won't play. I have some that are moldy that are play fine. It just depends, you know. But oh well. Next up, we have Wish Upon a Star with Katherine Heigl, who was always a bitch, and then we have Danielle Harris, who apparently now is a bitch, which is weird. So there's that. But this is not a Disney Channel original movie, but this is one that Disney Channel would show a lot back in the day, so a lot of people consider it to be one. But always really liked this one. Always had fun with this movie. You know, I do like these like Freaky Friday type of movies, the body switching type of movies, because you can have a lot of fun with that kind of stuff, at least in my book, if you do it right. Of course, there's a bunch of bad ones too, but good stuff. That is on DVD. It is out of print. I don't know if it's worth anything or not. I found it on DVD at FYE for like $10, and I grabbed it because at the time it was still kind of hard to track down. Then we have Rookie of the... Actually, hold on. we'll save that. We'll save Rookie of the Year because you might as well. Anyway, next up we have Prehysteria, which was Full Moon. This was their child label, which was called Moonbeam Entertainment. They did it. I actually remember seeing quite a bunch of these movies back in the day in the video stores. I don't think I've ever seen this though. Like they did Dragon World. I remember that one. I did like that one. There was a Pet Shop was one of them, which they showed on Monster Vision actually. But I found this I think at a Goodwill, because I think at the time it wasn't on DVD. I think now it's on DVD. They did a couple sequels, but it does of course have Austin O'Brien from Last Action Hero. I think this was the same year. Yeah, this was the same year as Last Action Hero. But like I said, I don't think I've ever seen this. But this was kind of a kid version of Jurassic Park. They did a couple sequels, again, which I don't think I've seen any of them, but I got it cheap. Well, okay, well that's weird. It's from the local mom and pop video store, the last one, but I don't think I got it there. I think I got it at a Goodwill or something, but that's even better, which is cool. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. Then we have Flintstones, Meet the Flintstones. I actually like this movie. I always did. I know there's people that don't, but I always had fun with this film. Is it perfect? No. It actually made a shit ton of money when it came out, which is funny. I love the B-52 version of the Flintstones theme, though, which was cool. It's got a lot of good practical effects in there, too. And Rosie O'Donnell, this is actually one of the few movies I can stand her in, because she was a good choice for Betty, to be honest. And, of course, you got Rick Moranis in there. John Goodman was a great choice for Fred, which he didn't want to do the movie. I think he was kind of forced into doing the movie, but I think he did a good job. But I do like this movie for what it is. My mom is a huge Flintstones fan, and she hates the movie, so I guess it just depends. Then we have probably, honestly, my favorite black film, Who's the Man? Amazing cast, so many great cameos in here. Yeah, I said black film. Get over it. You'll get the fuck over it before you die, I'm sure. But I absolutely love this movie. This is a classic. Where the fuck is the Blu-ray for this? Come on, Criterion. You put out House Party. You're putting out Boys in the Hood. You put out Menace to Society. You got to put out Who's the Man next. Let's fucking go. Come on now. Damn. A great movie. Love Who's the Man. I remember the trailer for that was on the Loaded Weapon 1 VHS. And I actually just watched that recently. Me and my brother watch it because we love it. Got a couple of Disney titles here. First up, Blank Check, which I don't know, honestly, how they were able to get away with the ending of this movie. It was creepy then. It's creepy now. Yes, I mean, do I want to fuck Karen Duffy? Yeah, because Karen Duffy was hot. Karen Duffy is also in Who's the Man. But I did not want to fuck Karen Duffy as a child because that's pedophilia, so for her at least. So yeah, I don't understand how they were able to get away with Karen Duffy kissing a child on the lips and, you know, maybe slipping some tongue in there. I don't know how they were able to do that. Other than that, I love it. It's a good movie. But that was always very uncomfortable and creepy, even as a child. I'm like, weird. Yes, again, I want to fuck Karen Duffy too, but I want to fuck Karen Duffy now because I'm an adult. So there you go. But she was smoking hot back in the day. So there's that. You got to have Hocus Pocus. You got to have this one in your collection. It is essential to have on any format. I need to get this on Laserdisc. I have it on Blu-ray. But it's Hocus Pocus. Now, I saved Rookie of the Year because it would fit better with this. So we have The Sandlot, which is one of the greatest movies ever made, as far as I'm concerned. And certainly one of my favorites, and definitely my favorite baseball movie. Cannot go wrong. When I was a kid, I did have the clamshell release. This is actually the original release. And it came out as a slipcover first, and then they re-released it in the Fox Family Feature line as a clamshell, which my grandmother actually had that, so I do have that one in the other room. And then since it's the same year, the same studio, and the same theme. We have Rookie of the Year, but again, this is a later release because it is the Fox family feature. But this is definitely, if The Sandlot is my favorite baseball movie, Rookie of the Year is probably a very close number 2. So there you go. But a classic. Always enjoyed this film. And we went over the blank tape earlier where the Disney Channel showed it as a double feature, which makes it even more awesome. So there you go. And I did meet Thomas and Nicholas a couple years ago at Chiller. Really cool dude. Really nice guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he's a really solid guy. Very cool. I told him a story. I don't want to take too much time here, but in the movie, the head coach can never get his name right. So when I was in the Army, we had a guy who had I'm not going to give his name out or anything, but he had a very similar name to Henry Rowan Gardner. So I would call him Rowan Gardner just to fuck with him, and he always got a big kick out of it. And I told Thomas Ian Nicholas that story, and he loved it. He thought that was hilarious. I was like, cool. But he's a really cool dude. I love him. He's got, I know he's got one band. I don't know if he has other bands, but he's played in a bunch of bands. He did have some of his music for sale when he does these signings and stuff. So I think he only had CDs. I asked if he had vinyl. I think he said he didn't. Unfortunately, he didn't bring any with him to the show. But I think all his stuff's on streaming if you want to go take a look at that. So there you go. Next up, we have Evolution, which is the real Ghostbusters 3 as far as I'm concerned. I really like this film. It didn't do that well when it came out, but I quite enjoy this. I think I only have this on VHS. I think there is a Blu-ray for it now. But this is fun. I really like this movie, which is cool. Like I said, this is the real Ghostbusters 3. Fuck whatever came out after Ghostbusters 2. And that's another one that actually got a cartoon as well, but the cartoon didn't really have anything to do with the movie. So there's that. Next up we have The Santa Claus. I've had this forever on VHS. I absolutely love this movie. Again, always one of my all-time favorite Christmas films. A classic. I try to watch it every year. And this VHS is significant because this has the original 1-900 Spank Me line. It's in the VHS and the Laserdisc, but for the DVD forward, they took that line out because when this came out on VHS, apparently kids were calling that line, and it was a real phone sex line, so people complained about it, and Disney they edited the master of the film to get it out of there. So there you go. But again, if you have the VHS or Laserdisc, that line will be in there. So that's one of the reasons why I kept it. Also because it's a classic. It's the Santa Claus. You can't go wrong with the Santa Claus. Next up, we have Cruel Intentions. Always really enjoyed this movie. Sarah Michelle Gellar, for those of you that don't know, she actually is naturally a brunette. The first season of Buffy, her hair was, I don't think she was completely brunette. I think she was it was kind of like mine. It was a little lighter and not full, black. But yeah, she's actually naturally a brunette, and I think she is way more attractive as a brunette. Not that she's not bad looking as a blonde, because she actually still is quite fairly attractive. But I don't know, she's just way hotter as a brunette. And Reese Witherspoon, yeah, she could definitely get it too. I will say that, even though she's a fucking weirdo too. And then Selma Blair, I always thought Selma Blair was attractive, and I do. Sucks. She's got MS and everything, which sucks. But yeah. But yeah, good movie. Always really enjoyed this one. Definitely a lot of sexual tension in there. I will say that. So there's that. Next up, we have Gargoyles. Another Gargoyles release here. This is Volume 1, The Hunted. I do need to get the other. I think there's 3 other ones I don't have. But this has Thrill of the Hunt and Temptation. And then the one with the board game had the 5-part pilot. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think the first season is on VHS, because the first season was only 13 episodes. So I have to look into that, but I'm pretty sure the first season is all on VHS. So wait, it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so they did 4 volumes, and then they did the movie. So actually, yeah, the first season is available completely on VHS. There you go. Next up, we have Johnny Stecchino, a great, funny Italian film. I do have this on Laserdisc because in America, it's only on VHS and Laserdisc. And I did get this at the Antique Mall for $1.99 because the sticker's on there. I remember my grandparents, my dad's parents, actually having this one on VHS as a kid. So I don't think I ever watched it back then. Then we have one of my all-time favorite parody movies. And where the fuck is the Blu-ray for this? But we have Kung Pao Enter the Fist. I love this movie. It's stupid. Yes, it's goofy. But that's the point. That's the point. It's a parody. It's supposed to be goofy and stupid. But I love this film. Again, where the fuck is the Blu-ray? And Fox was doing this towards the end of the VHS run. They were doing different colors for their tapes for some reason, so this one was blue, but it is from Blockbuster, which is great. But I probably quote, that's one of the movies that I quote the most, to be honest with you. So there you go. Next up we have the Blues Brothers, which this is the original theatrical version. I want to say they did release the extended cut on VHS, which I actually prefer the extended cut. I have to look into that. But again, my favorite musical, because the Blues Brothers is a musical, so there you go. Again, not big on musicals, just not my cup of tea. But it is the Blues Brothers after all. One of the all-time classics, as far as I'm concerned. I have to cover the address on here, but we have Clue. Hold on, do it that way. I'm sorry, I'm covering up the title, but there's someone's address. I don't know if that person still is there or not, but Clue the movie, classic. I did get to see this in the theater last year. They re-released it for the 40th anniversary, which was awesome. And each night that you went to go see it had a different ending. We went the third night, which had the third ending, which is the one where Mr. Green was revealed to be an undercover agent, which is my favorite ending, so at least I got to see that. But it would have been cool if they showed all the endings. But I get it. It was the gimmick to make you go watch the movie 3 times. I wasn't doing all that, though. But love Clue. Classic movie. Cannot go wrong with that. I need to pick up, I think Shout Factory put it out on Blu-ray with extras, so I do want to check that out. Then we have Can't Hardly Wait, which has seen some better days here, but one of my all-time favorite high school movies, and I love the fact that most of the movie is the party, because typically prior to that, the party would be the last 30 minutes of the movie or what have you. But I love that the fact that they did the opposite, where basically the entire movie took place at the party. But again, one of my all-time favorite high school films, can't go wrong. Bonus includes Smash Mouth's music video for Can't Get Enough of You Baby. Why not? What the hell happened to Jenna Elfman? Like, what happened to her? I know she's still alive, but you never hear about her anymore. Like, back in the day, she was everywhere. Dharma and Greg, come on. Next up, we got some Baltimore Orioles VHS tapes here. First up, we have Orioles 89, Why Not, when they were still on fire. This is kind of the end of that run when they were really good. So there you go. I think you can get this at Super Fresh. Super Fresh was a local Baltimore grocery store. My mom might still have a Super Fresh card somewhere. I remember when I was a kid and I worked at the grocery store, somebody had one. I was like, oh my God, you still have that? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I remember Super Fresh as a kid. So there you go. And then we have this tape you can find around this area where I live in Baltimore. You find this fucking tape everywhere still because they made 1 million of them. But this is the Orioles 40th anniversary commemorative video, 1954 to 1994, which you could only get at Crown gas stations. But again, they made a gazillion of these, so everywhere you go, you find them. So I find these everywhere, but I don't need 13 copies of it. So there's that. Then we have The Breakfast Club, which I still only have on VHS. I don't have it on Blu-ray. Definitely need to pick up the Criterion release, but it's the fucking Breakfast Club. It's an absolute classic. You cannot go wrong with this movie. Then we have Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Come on, I had to do it. But classic movie. Love Good Burger. And, of course, because it's Nickelodeon, it does have the orange plastic. So you gotta have that. But absolutely love this movie. I've seen this movie 12 million times, and I still love it. I can't complain. My favorite character is Abe Vigoda. I would love to know how the fuck they got Abe Vigoda in this movie. So there you go. This is actually my mom's, but I kept it in here. But we have Purple Rain! Purple Rain! Sorry. But, yeah, definitely watch this. Should not have watched it as a kid, but definitely did watch it. But classic movie. But it's fucking Purple Rain. Come on. I love that too. I love that the sticker had Prince on the motorcycle. I always thought that was really cool. But my mom, she's like, whatever happened to the VHS of Purple Rain? I'm like, Mom, it's downstairs with all the other VHS. Oh, okay. I didn't throw it away. I didn't get rid of it. Come on, it's fucking Purple Rain. Who do you think you're dealing with here? Fucking Joey Bananas? Anyway. We have Deuces Wild. I actually really like this film. When I met Steven Dorff, I brought it up. He was shocked that I liked the film. When I met Drea Di Matteo, I brought it up. She was shocked that I liked the film. But I quite like this. It was shot, actually, speaking of Drea Di Matteo, this was actually shot, I think, during the first season of The Sopranos. But it didn't come out until 3 years later. It actually sat on the shelf for 3 years for whatever reason. And Martin Scorsese actually is a producer on this, but for whatever reason he had his name taken off of it. So yeah, so by the time that the movie came out, The Sopranos was big. Frankie Muniz is in it. Is he in the front? Yeah, Frankie Muniz is in it. This is before he did Malcolm in the Middle. So again, after this, when the movie finally came out, everyone had kind of blown up a little bit, but it didn't really do much. I think I caught this like on Spike TV, like at midnight one night, and then I found the DVD, rented the DVD or something. But actually, again, quite like this movie, and I did get it from Goodwill. It is on Blu-ray. Aloe Films put it out, so it is out of print. I don't know if it's expensive or not, but I would love if maybe Kino or somebody picked it up and we got some extras. It'd be cool to get some interviews on there, but we'll see. Then you have to have this in your collection. Dun 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 dun, which of course it's not in the movie, but you gotta have Cool as Ice, because there's just some movies that are too embarrassing to buy on Blu-ray. Not really, but I found this at a thrift store, so I can't complain. But do I think that this is the worst movie ever made? No. Do I think that this is the worst movie, the worst vanity project for a musician? No, that would be Glitter with Mariah Carey. I'd rather watch this movie on fucking loop than have to sit through Glitter ever again. If I watch Glitter again, I'm going to fucking kill myself with a glitter bomb. So there you go. But at least Kristen Minter is in it. She was pretty attractive. I mean, she probably still is, so there's that. But it's not the worst movie ever. Then we have Man of the House. Classic. Love Man of the House. Sad because Farrah Fawcett's in it. She's dead. George Wendt is in it. He's dead. Oh, shit. Mark Mancina did the music. I did not know that till right now. Who did Speed, amongst other movies. Love Mark Mancina. He did the music for Tarzan. But always really enjoyed this movie. Chevy Chase is a fucking prick. But good actor. You know, I have noted. Everyone's like, would you ever want to meet him? Why the fuck would I want to meet Chevy Chase? He's an asshole. But great actor. But always loved this movie. This is probably, honestly, my favorite movie that he did. I know, I didn't say Christmas Vacation. Oh, no, Fletch. Sorry, got to go with Fletch. My bad. Cannot betray my man Fletch. So then Man of the House would be number 2. It's Fletch. Come on. I don't have any. Children? No. Books about elephants. Next up, we have a John Candy double feature here. Cannot go wrong. So first up, we have The Great Outdoors, which is a lot of fun. Try to watch this movie every summer. Can't go wrong. Got this at the video store where my cousins live. Always loved that art where it's like an old magazine, like an old fishing magazine. Always thought that was really cool. I think this is coming out on 4K. So I think it's going to have some extras. So we'll check that out. And then, of course, we have Uncle Buck, which was always my favorite because I am Uncle Buck. I am the Uncle Buck in my family. So there you go. But you could just tell that everybody had a blast making this movie, and it was just fun and just cutting up and having a great time. And sadly, there is a 4K, but sadly there's not much in the way of extras. The commentary, though, is from I can't remember. He's here on YouTube. I forget his name here on YouTube, but he does a lot of good stuff. I think maybe Hats Off Entertainment, I'm not sure. But apparently that commentary is pretty good, so I'll have to check that out. So we're going to do it, man. We're just going to get it done. We're just like a Band-Aid, we'll just pull it off. Then we have the Bill and Ted films. Can't go wrong. I can't break away. Oh, can I know that, oh, na, na, which is actually gibberish, so there's no lyrics there. But actually watched this the other night. Still a classic, man. 35 plus years later, you cannot go wrong with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Still one of my favorite comedies of all time. And the equally great sequel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which I don't know which one I like more. When I was younger, I said Bogus Journey. I still might like Bogus Journey more. I'm not sure, but they're both classics. Fuck Bill and Ted Face the Music. I didn't watch it. I will never watch it. I don't care. There's only 2 Bill and Ted movies in this fucking dojo. So there's that. Alright, and we got some cartoons here. We got the Battletoads pilot, which apparently was so awful they didn't even bother to do anything else. I disagree. I don't think it was bad. But it only came out on VHS. I don't think this was terrible. Come on now. There's plenty worse out there. And then this is the other Double Dragon cartoon VHS tapes that I have. We already went over the clamshell release, but we have the original release of The Legend Begins, which was only the first part. For whatever reason, they did that. And then they re-released it in the proper 2-part format. So there you go. Because it's a 2-part episode, but again, for whatever reason, they did part 1 by itself, and then they re-released it as the proper 2-parter. So let me see the catalog number here. Yeah, so this one came out first, and then it was this one. So again, I don't know why. I don't know why Disney did that. Disney logic. And then we have Deadly Mutants, which I got this one at the Dollar General when I was a kid as well. So I've had this one forever, which is cool. But I like the Double Dragon cartoon. Again, it is on Blu-ray. I do have it on Blu-ray. Had it on DVD and then upgraded to the Blu-ray. So there's that. Next up, we have Daredevil, which this is the PG-13 theatrical cut. The R-rated director's cut never came out on VHS, but that's okay. I still like the PG-13 cut, but the R-rated cut is way better. Infinitely better, at least in my opinion. But I never thought the movie was as bad as people say it was. Next up, we have a bunch of... No, I think they're in the right order. Disney Channel original movies, which 2 of the 3 are not on DVD. So first up, Jump, Jump, the house is jumping. Jump, Jump, the house is jumping. Come on. Smart House, which is on DVD. I do have it on DVD. as well. But love Smart House, was always one of my favorites. Ryan Merriman, like, I feel like Ryan Merriman's like my cousin. I feel like I grew up with him. I feel like we hang out all the time. I don't know. It's just weird. I'm sure he hears that all the time, but I don't know. I feel like I know him. It's weird. But then Kevin Kilner, always liked him. He's from Baltimore. Kevin Kilner, always liked his work. He was the dad in Home Alone 3, which we covered earlier. And you can't go wrong with Katie Segal, or Siegel, or however. I've heard it. I don't remember how. No, Seagal, Katie Seagal, but not like Steven Seagal. But come on, it's Peg Bundy. Can't go wrong. Excuse me. Then we have Can of Worms, which is not on DVD, but this one, for whatever reason, they never really showed this one. I remember, and then when they would show it, it'd come on at like 2 o'clock in the morning. But this was one of the ones that they never really showed for whatever reason. But I actually really liked this one. Always quite enjoyed this film. And it has the very attractive Erica Christensen. Always had a big crush on her. Always thought she was very pretty. So there's that. But yeah, that one's not on DVD, and neither is this one. Then we have Motorcrossed, which always like this one, with the very cute Alana Austin. Before, I know like the whole thing was her like looking like a dude, but when she looks like a fucking woman with her hair grown out, she's actually pretty damn cute. I will say that. So there you go. But always dug this one too. Timothy Carhart is the dad in this. Always loved him as an actor. Always really liked his work. And Scott Terra, who was the younger Matt Murdock in Daredevil, and he was also in Eight-Legged Freaks. And then there's a Xenon the Sequel music video as a bonus feature. So there's that. And then the mom, I think she was Dawson's mom on Dawson's Creek. I never watched it, but again, rest in peace, James Van Der Beek. Unbelievable, you know. And then Can of Worms is from Blockbuster. Sorry, we're about to show you. So there's that. So we got a couple more. I'm just gonna get this done. I'll knock it out. You guys will like it. So there's that. But we got some Patrick Swayze movies here. First up, we have the documentary Red Dawn, which if you get that reference, bonus points. But this is the MGM movie time release. There actually is a big box release. I do want to get that. But I know this photoshopped artwork and stuff, but I actually always really like that one. That was the original DVD. But Red Dawn, maybe a documentary very, 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 very soon here. We'll see what happens. We'll see what these fucking retards want to do. But I will say one thing. Wolverines. So there's that. Then we have Roadhouse. This is the original release. I had the movie... Oh, Jesus. I had the movie time release of Roadhouse, but this is the original. I kept this one. I love Roadhouse. It's a classic. It's a great movie, but I don't need 12 copies of it on VHS. So there you go. I only need Stone Cold with the Boz 12 copies. No, I'm kidding. And then, of course, we have Point Break. Lee and Jesse Alvarez, I don't know who you are, but I have a bunch of your VHS tapes, and guess what? You ain't getting the fuckers back. So there you go. And this, again, is the 20th Century Fox Selections release. But love Point Break. I know that's one of the movies that Rambo, Raph, and I disagree upon the biggest, but you know what? That's okay, because we can still be friends, because we're not fucking psychos. There's that. And then last but certainly not least, I had a bunch more of his movies, but I got rid of them. I have some other ones in the other room. I've been trying to get them back, but we've got Ring of Fire 3, Lion Strike with Don the Dragon Wilson. This was the one that I kept, but like I said, I do have some more. I have Ring of Fire 2, actually, in the other room. But I really like this. This is definitely one of the better movies that he did. This is a pretty fun action film if you've never seen this one. And it's definitely my favorite of the Ring of Fire movies, although I do like the first two. And the very lovely Bobby Phillips is in there, who was on The Crow, Stairway to Heaven. She was the female Crow. So there you go. So that is the part 13. That is it. I know we went a little bit longer, but I wanted to get that section knocked out, and I know that you guys will like it, so it's no big deal. Part 14, we will work on the other half of the stuff up top there, and then the rest of it will be the long shelf here. We'll see how long it takes to get through that, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. So, as always, thank you for watching. Most importantly, take care of yourselves, and we will talk to you guys soon on the next part. Later.